making a change toward transformation, that you want to think about both the clinical quality, the transformation initiatives, and your financial obligations. So I look at sort of where we want to go, then I look at what are the metrics, and I try to tie them to financial goals. So that you know, that if we want quality, high quality and cost effective, that's where I look first. That how can we achieve both of those? And then certainly the recovery and transformation is to make us be more recovery oriented. I've seen us do the pilot programs with the day transformation groups that have been successful hugely because we implemented peer specialists. The peer specialists, we changed the name to recovery coaches. That has been very powerful voice that sometimes our clients with severe mental illness or long-term chronic illness for substance abuse didn't feel like they had advocates, and they have advocates on a daily basis with the recovery coaches. You know, involving them in the peer culture and the governance and having them have advisory groups has been huge. And this we really gained from focus groups. So we did a series of focus groups and really looked at their data across. Found some providers that didn't do it as strongly as others and could share from one provider to the other. We've looked at, really the other way is to look at providers and drill this down from the system measures to the provider measures to say, you know, what are the provider level measures that we want to look at? Implementing provider profiles, baselines, engaging providers in joining us and really saying, what does this need to be? Because they're, you know, I would say to them, you have the expertise. You see people every day. Tell us what should be important. You know, that it's not just a top-down. It's, we did the lit search, we did the information, but they said, from your perspective, what do we need to work on? And they had a perspective. And they really partnered with us. And the idea of being transparent and not doing it too quickly. I mean, I know my management would love to have had these things done in a year, but you can't have the communication in a year. You have to give, like a system where you serve 100,000 people and 300 providers, you have to give the time to have the discussions.
And Cathy, you talked about pay-per performance. I wonder if you just say a little bit about that, and also that you're building in now things like customer satisfaction and other stuff into the measures too.
Right. So you're really looking, once you have the baseline profiles, provider profiles, for a year and people have looked at that, you start saying, all right, which things should we incentivize? So you certainly want to say that given this, that we can weight these measures out of this profile. So things we don't weight are complaints, you know, because we want to not ever have chilling on complaints. We want to understand what's going on and have the consumer's voice. You generally want to say, I've got some customer satisfaction goals. So in this round, I'm only asking, how do you measure customer satisfaction? I'm not making them do my form right now because half of them have their own form. So I'm saying, you know, tell me how you're monitoring customer satisfaction. And then over the years we'll say, well, this is the expectation that, you know, you measure it, that you have X percent people complete it, that it's not 2 people complete it, that you really engage people around it, and that you have some feedback to them, that there's something happens when you get it in. You know, so it's more the quality improvement continuum, that you're not just measuring to be measuring, you're getting information, you're doing something with it. So I think the pay for performance really has helped focus us. I was surprised that when we started saying, here's what we're looking at, the system as a whole started saying, okay, how can we improve this? You know, and come together to really problem solve around specific issues. And you can build in your strategic incentives, you know, say if I want you to hire, you know, as a system, let's set the goal of hiring X number of recovery coaches by provider. You know, we're not quite there yet because we haven't gotten the data yet to know where we want to go with that. But I think that's sort of it. Is that good?
Yeah, it's very good.
Is that a quick summary?
That's great. And we've been with Cathy Bolton. Just tell us, you're director
I'm the Director of Continuous Quality Improvement for Department of Behavioral Health in Philadelphia.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Here with my colleague Winfred, who's another Churchill fellow. So he's filmed it too. There we are.
Yes.
You should do his picture, right?
Thank you.